Welcome to the Farm to School podcast, where you will hear stories of how you thrive and farmers prosper when we learn how to grow, cook, and eat delicious, nutritious local foods in schools across the country
and the world. Hey, we're your hosts. I'm Michelle Markison.
And I'm Rick Sherman. Still
Rick Sherman.
Still Rick Sherman. Today we're going to talk about something completely different. And now for something completely different for our Marnie Python fans out there. So we, this last winter, were at Oregon Farm to School Conference, where a few hundred Oregonians got together in the farm to school world.
But you met up with someone spontaneously that actually is connected to all our food education for all work.
Actually, it was pretty funny how it happened because there was a photographer there. I wasn't planning on doing any recording without my podcast host, Michelle, there.
So, that's harsh because I've been doing it.
Well, that's okay. So somebody wanted a picture of us in action. So I hit record and I just said, "Hey, Corrina, come here, sit down." And she's a dear friend. I've known her for years and years and years.
She's out at the coast, right?
She is, but we have a school garden coordinator training that takes place. You can take it online through Oregon State University. Anyone in the country can do it.
He's going to link to it.
I will link to it. And it's been a really good thing. It's a week-long immersive course that used to be in person in Portland, and this was back in those days. Kelly Douglas was part of that, which we recorded.
I did it for 10 years.
Very first, first episodes. I always do the food safety thing. Well, it became online now, and but anyway, Corrina was part of this, one of the early ones when we were in person. She was in Lincoln County School District at Newport High School. She's a teacher there, and knew her, and I knew she wouldn't be too nervous. She was. I don't think it shows much on this, but this was totally unplanned, unscripted, and I just said, "Hey, Corrina, tell me your goals, life ambitions, and tell me what you do." And sometimes those are the best episodes. But it's funny that we mentioned this. We talked about Pilot Light and Alex DeSorbo Quinn in a previous episode. Come to find out, I didn't even know this at the time, but she was a recipient of
one of their fellowships. Yeah,
fellowship of this at her high school with Pilot Light. Yeah, so it's kind of neat with what she does in the CTE world, career technical education. Listen to this episode.
I can't wait to learn about it.
Yeah. So thanks, here we go. There. So what's your name?
Corrina.
Corrina what?
Corrina Hargett.
Where are you at?
I live in Newport, Oregon.
What do you do there, Newport, Oregon?
I serve.
In Newport, Oregon, for those of you who don't know, it's on the Oregon coast. So it's like the most beautiful place in the world. If you're a beach goer, people think our beaches, if you come here for a nice warm water, don't come to Oregon because it's freezing cold. But it's sandy beaches, beautiful touristy place, a lot of traffic in the summer. But so it's one of our, it's like we say, like if you're in Portland, you're an hour from anywhere, hour from the beach, hour from the mountains. So the beach, it's one of our playgrounds. But so you're at a school in Newport. What do you do there?
I teach at Newport High School.
And what do you teach there?
Well, my background is early childhood education, but
Yeah.
I always say I teach students because I teach the high school kids, I teach the little kids.
Yeah.
And they teach me.
So your school, it's a high school, you said.
It's a high school.
But you said little kids too.
And we had a preschool for about 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, we had high school and preschool in the garden together, and we're coming up on our 20th year of building our garden.
I know. I've been around for a while, and I've seen you since the start of my job.
Oh.
And so you've been there the whole time. Were you in Toledo once too? No, just...
I did some work at a Lala Center, and last summer we built a hoop house in Toledo.
Okay. I thought I remembered something about that. But so what's your favorite thing about your job then?
Got it. I actually surfed without my wetsuit in October.
Yeah.
We had like an 86-degree day.
Yeah.
And it was so nice. And I was out there like an hour and a half, and I came in. I told my friend, I go, what's up with this?
Do you do a wetsuit in your school? You mean
No,
you do?
but I didn't have a wetsuit on when we went surfing that day.
Yeah.
And later on, I got cold, and I was like, that was a unusual day. You can't normally go in the ocean
Yeah.
that long without having.
So back to your school garden thing.
Okay.
So, and just so you know, everybody, I knew Corrina. So, and there was a photographer here. We're at the Oregon Farm to School conference, and she wanted to take a picture of the podcast live. So Corrina, and she had no idea that she's even being recorded. She's like, "You're recording me?" Yeah. So yeah, we're recording. So, but I've always wanted to get out to see your school. Like you say, come to the coast anyway. So I'm going to do that one day. Come over. But what's your favorite thing to do there? You were saying teaching the kids, and just any specific thing that makes you just light up, or what?
Well, I grew up out in the garden with my grandma, my great grandma, and there's so many instinctual things that happen in the garden, and I see that with my students. There's wonder, there's curiosity when they're really little, but as they get older, they don't lose that. They just have to find it.
Yeah.
So really seeing them inspect a little caterpillar climbing up the tree, or I see high school kids get to revisit the best part of themselves, which is that really young, curious, no grade attached to the learning.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we need more of.
Yeah, I think it's life-changing sometimes. I've seen it in kids' eyes where they just, like, their behavior changes. It's been well documented in our world. Like, behavior problems go down. They get their hands in the dirt, and they're just like zen out.
And we can, we can take it to the highest level. They can look at the microbiome. They can look at how to prune trees properly. Like, they can look at the disease of the trees. We can stretch it to an advanced high school and beyond learning environment.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the most pure part is when they realize I can get in the dirt, feel better after I've been in the garden.
Yeah.
One student, I said, try this, taste it. What is that? I go, it's broccoli. I don't like broccoli.
Yeah.
And then, but the garden broccoli is different. So they literally taste.
Yeah.
This doesn't taste like I've had it before. And I think it stretches all of us.
Yeah.
There's no one place in the garden where no one doesn't belong. It's for everyone.
And you can do anything in the garden. You could have a reading program. You can have art. You can have physical education, shoveling and stuff. Yeah. I know, like, there's a part of the coast that's called the Mediterranean climate. Have you heard that before, too?
I've heard it a little bit. And we have some olive trees that we're dabbling with. I know Blake's Coastal Nursery in Glen Eden Beach, which is right outside of Lincoln City, has some olive trees that have acclimated, and they actually have produced olives right there. What is it? Less than 5 miles from the beach.
Well, and that's what they say about where we live, our state. There's every climate in the world. There's desert, there's mountains, there's our Willamette Valley, which is our breadbasket. But then, I heard that there's this Mediterranean type climate that's on the Coast Range and over towards the coast. So who knew? So,
I've heard that there's a lemon tree up in Lincoln City somewhere. I haven't found it.
Well, we have palm trees here in Salem. They're kind of stunted, but you can see them everywhere. There's even a nursery around that sells palm trees, and who knew that? So, we have super nice summers. Don't let it get out. Don't come up here, everybody. But, our summers are beautiful, but now it's like 10 months of rain. But so what are you guys doing now when it's not really conducive for getting outside?
We actually have the lettuce grow towers inside of our school. So we've been working with getting food into the cafeterias, letting the kids learn about healthy nutrition, making healthy smoothies. They love. Yeah. We've got kale growing out in the garden outside, and we bring it in and make kale chips. And so we just try and, it's year round.
Good on you. And that's such I know some people over in Central Oregon where spring doesn't happen there until late May or June. It's just, it's frozen ground. And they do that. They do aquaponics and aeroponics and all that stuff too, like over in Sisters. And that's the way you have fresh herbs or fresh lettuce in your cafeteria. Good. So glad to hear that.
And I think giving the kids some choice.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to do? Well, right now they love the strawberries. So we're all about trying to get as many strawberries as we can going we get a spring harvest and a fall harvest.
I used to pick strawberries for a living as a little kid. If you had all the money in the world, what would you do? Would that change your life at your school at all, for your programming or anything?
Well, I know money's how we get more things.
Yeah.
I think for us, there's a lot we can do with what we have.
Yeah.
And we have school gardens in all 4 of our schools in Newport.
Yes.
And so we can share resources. We can share, we propagated things and kind of they multiply and grow. We also get a lot of donations.
Yep.
So our blueberry bushes came from down on the McKenzie, organic blueberry bushes.
You just got to ask sometime, right?
Right.
And, Now, and your food service has been very supportive with getting like school garden produce into the cafeteria or whatever.
They're working so hard.
I know they're here at the conference right now.
I think their big claim to fame is going to be getting the seafood piece going. We've had some really neat connections with our fishing community and even the fertilizer, like being able to take I think it's shrimp waste and using that as fertilizer.
Oh, you're going to have to let me know how that's going when I come over and stuff. But that's so important. Like you talk about your community and like teaching the kids where their food comes from. That's a way of life over there. So that's a really neat connection. But we've even found, like, I know Bend Lapine schools in Central Oregon, they did a boat to school thing, and you would think their kids would not like seafood because they're in Central Oregon in the desert, but they loved it too. So it's a neat teaching opportunity.
For sure. I think our tribe, Let's Tribe, also has been amazing.
I need to get there.
They are wonderful, sharing seeds, sharing produce from their garden. I went out to do a sweep raiding in the spring, and they hand you a box of food, and they're doing a lot with community building. So I think there's a lot of great things.
Okay.
And, our coastal region.
Yeah, it's making me want to get out there again.
Well, thank you.
When the weather turns a little nice. Although it's so fun to go there during a storm and just see those waves crashing in too when it's, just bundle up.
Yeah, don't turn your back on the ocean.
No.
Keep your eye on the ocean.
No, we have a thing called tsunamis here. Yeah, and rogue waves and all that stuff.
Tides. Yeah, they're for real.
Yes.
I will say almost 20 years ago when they said we couldn't grow pumpkins on the coast, the kids wanted to, and it was magical. Yeah. And I think, try it.
Yeah, where there's a will. Yeah. Yeah, so fun.
Don't limit yourself ever in the garden, in the school garden. And I want to thank you because one of my favorite memories was up in Portland at the Farm to School Garden Conference or the training. And we met the folks from Hawaii.
School garden coordinator training, right?
Yes, that was life-changing to learning in the gardens and met the folks from the Kukua farms in Hawaii. And that's what I want to go to some days to see. I
remember that because like here in the Northwest, we're very high up in the latitudes. Yeah. And so you point your garden, you always look, well, where's your sun going to be? Because you have to you have this arc on the, on the horizon where you got to get every bit of sunlight you can, and especially in the fall and the spring. In summer, not so much. But the people from Hawaii said, why do you keep talking about sunlight? What is that? I'm like, you don't have that problem. There's always sun. And Alaska, they grow so much because they have full daylight, all the time in the summer, so it's actually a really good growing season. Who knew that? So
that's amazing.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, Corrina, thank you so much for being our guest so far, our first guest at the Oregon Farm to School and School Garden Conference here in lovely Corvallis, Oregon. Go Beavs.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Rick.
All right.
Have a great day.
Yep. We'd like to thank you so much for listening today, and thank you, Corrina, for being a very awesome impromptu guest.
Farm to School was written, directed, and produced by Rick Sherman and Michelle Markiston, with production support from the incredible Leanne Lochner and Lauren Toby of Oregon State University. This podcast was made possible in part by a grant from the United States Department of Agriculture.
The content and ideas of the Farm to School podcast do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Oregon State University or the United States Department of Agriculture. The USDA and Oregon State University are equal opportunity providers and employers.
Oregon?
I was going to say OSU, and I said I went Oregon.
It's like best practice not to do acronyms. Did you know that?
But we say USDA all the time.
Gosh, but that's kind of like
That's
FFA.
different. Yeah.
But that's actually their name.
USDA?
FFA.
FFA. Future Farmers of America.
You could learn more about acronyms and Farm to School and check out our other episode show notes and contact information by going to Farm to School Podcast.
OSU.
You did say OSU.
I know. That's what it says in the notes.
We'd love to hear from you. Bye.
Bye.